Winter storm warnings are not just limited to those folks in the Northeast, but as well as the Ohio Valley, all the way to Kansas too, and as well as western Texas and eastern New Mexico. Special cold weather advisories are in effect throughout places like eastern Colorado to southern Nebraska, but there are flood advisories. Why is that? Ice jams. Well, you know, folks, I guess there could be two weather topics of the day today, so I'm going to make this an exception. Folks, since we do have a lot that's going on. But I could repeat myself, but let's see. Well, spoiler alert, I've already did the weather topic of the day early, but I could repeat that, which was, or rather, almost spoiled it. Or in a way, I may have already done that. Alright, but it's not the ice jams. But you got it. Well, you know what? Yeah. Whatever. Let's just continue. We got northern Wisconsin, western upper Michigan, all under cold weather advisories, as well as northern Minnesota, parts of the Dakotas, for example, like southwestern North Dakota to northeastern North Dakota too. Extreme cold warnings are in effect in northwestern North Dakota to northeastern Montana. All of that has to do with temperatures that are well below freezing, well below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, that is. Alright, let's see what we got. Throughout the northern Rockies, with the exception of eastern Montana, winter weather advisories are in effect in places like Lewiston. Great Falls under special weather statement there. Upper Missouri River Breaks National Monument. They're part of the winter weather advisory. Outside of Billings to the west and to the south. Red Lodge under winter weather advisories. Crow Indian Reservation as well. Wyoming, it's just only a cold weather advisory in the east central part of the state. Idaho, just a few snow showers, moderate to localized heavier snowfall amounts in and around Idaho Falls, Shelley, Blackfoot, Idaho, just south of Rexburg. Nothing much throughout the rest of Idaho. And we go down to Colorado. There are cold weather advisories, but they're actually outside of Denver. Yep, Fort Collins, Loveland, as well as outside of Boulder, just outside Colorado Springs, Monument, Colorado, Hugo, Colorado. Plenty of winter weather advisories in effect throughout the Rockies, southwestern Colorado, especially in the Rockies and Pueblo. And we do have cold weather advisories in Alamosa, Del Norte, and Monte Vista. And in Utah, just the southeastern part of the state, under winter weather advisory, located just outside, just to the east and south of Moab. Just a few showers on the south side of the state. Elsewhere, nothing much, as well as Nevada. New Mexico, I've already mentioned so much about this. Eastern half of the Land of Enchantment. They are under winter storm warnings, and in which case Roswell, Portales, they have plenty of moderate to heavy snowfall that's occurring right now. On the western side of the state, you have winter weather advisories, even though right now they are, well, just some areas, they have some moderate amounts of rain, but just high up in the mountains as you go up in elevation or wherever the freezing line's located, those whose temperatures are below freezing will get snow. Most likely places they're high up in the mountains. Truth or consequences? Yeah, believe it or not, folks, it really is a town. Under a winter weather advisory, Plenty of rains from Las Cruces to Lordsburg, right around the I-10 corridor. The I-25 corridor, it's mostly rain for the most part, but once you head up north, it's only just a few places with some snow and other places with some nothing much to moderate amounts of rain. Arizona, plenty of rains throughout the Grand Canyon State, but Flagstaff, they have some snow going on right now in the past 3 hours, but then recently they do have, meaning some places like just southeast of Show Low, they have transitioned into snow as daytime has concluded, and thus transitioning to nighttime, and in which case you do have snow right between Flagstaff and Show Low. I don't know, folks, but to be honest, it's just fun to say Show Low for no reason. I find that funny. I don't know about you guys. Well, I do have a weird sense of humor. And although you guys are never going to follow my sense of humor at all. Right along the I-10 corridor from the east to the western end of I-10 of Arizona, along I-10, mostly rain. But once you move outside, just to the north of I-10, some places do have winter weather advisories, with the exception just east of Wilcox and right around the Coronado National Forest. Under winter weather advisories, there is a cold front located in places like south of Aztec, all the way to north of Flagstaff, right between Kingman and Las Vegas. And there is a stationary front that's dividing between the two parts of New Mexico, the western part and the eastern part. Alright, and we go to California. Nothing much is going on, but there is plenty of rains out in the desert in Southern California. As soon as you leave just to the east of I-15, just to the west of the interstate, nothing much is happening, but just a few places, just right around the eastern, right on the mountainous side of Hemet and Banning. A few places with some snow showers and freezing rain are there, but this is more of a localized type of matter that's going on, folks. We go up the I-5 corridor and Route 101 from LA to San Francisco. Nothing much is happening. Then we go further up the I-5 corridor all the way to the Pacific Northwest. There are cold weather advisories from Eugene to Portland, Astoria, Olympia, Seattle. Pretty much the I-5 corridor from Eugene all the way to Marysville, Washington State, just north of Seattle. They're getting temperatures that are way too cold for their comfort, especially during the winter time. A special weather statement has been issued in places like Bend, Oregon, and around in some places throughout the Deschutes National Forest, the center of Oregon. And we look throughout the leeward side of the Cascades, in which case, the Cascades, that's where I drew. This is the windward side, just mostly cold temperatures. Eastern side, not much. Now, what's behind the special weather statement? Yeah, air quality alerts, or rather, air quality advisories. Not enough to issue air quality alerts, though, but we'll see what happens. But the reasons why, it's because, you tend to have lack of winds in the vicinity, and all that cold air tends to be more dense, which can be above warm, least dense type of air. And whenever that happens, you get stagnant air, and that smoke gets trapped in that part of the atmosphere, particularly on the ground, in which case that tends to create problems for those with underlying conditions, those with heart and breathing problems. So for folks with those issues, please do exercise caution and just don't do anything strenuous. And For those loved ones, please do check up on your neighbors and those who are vulnerable to these type of weather conditions. And make sure that if anything does happen, that you get them to the nearest emergency room as soon as possible. But all of this is going to last up until 10 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. Alright. And we're going to take a look at what's going on with... hold on. Well, we're not really going to do the 3-day forecast, folks. I mean, in a sense, that would be a complete one. Alright. So what do we got? Okay, so we got a lot of temperatures that are below freezing in northern New England to parts of upstate New York and as well as parts of Pennsylvania below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Other places, the first 20 degrees are located throughout the coastal parts of New England, in the southern part of New England, all the way to the mid-Atlantic, as well as for folks that are elsewhere in Pennsylvania, all the way to northern West Virginia and western Maryland. Plus for folks in the Ohio Valley, but then you have temperature many places throughout the Midwest. They have temperatures that are below 0 degrees Fahrenheit from just north of Lansing all the way to between Madison and Springfield to right between Des Moines and Madison, and as well as all the way up to northern half of South Dakota and splitting through eastern Montana as well. So this is a major problem, and a lot of cold weather advisories have been issued throughout much of places like the upper Midwest, parts of the Great Lakes region, and parts of New England as well, and parts of upstate New York. Though we have plenty of warmth throughout much of Florida, but 64 is the temperature in Tallahassee, but you have places like Little Rock that are at 19, and then right between Dallas and Oklahoma City, just about a 200-mile distance apart from each other. They have big change in temperatures where although Dallas is below freezing, but it gets worse once you go up to Oklahoma City, in which case you tend to have like temperatures that are the worst over there at this, even like during the winter time. Folks in the deep south, let's take a look. We got plenty of cold air coming from the north, from the upper Mississippi Valley, but then you have a collision between an air mass from the Gulf of Mexico converging with cold air coming from the Midwest and as well as the Ohio Valley. This tends to form a stationary front, as you can see, folks. Oh boy. Yep. Well, that is that's causing so much trouble over there in the south. It's only above freezing anywhere just located near Columbia, all the way to Knoxville, and then located throughout much of Alabama, but that freezing mark would be between Greenville and Jackson, Mississippi. Genes for folks in northern Mississippi. Well, hey, well, welcome. How's